Right, hi Magnus.
Hi there.
So, on Saturday, you did your first Ironman Sweden, never run a marathon before, and you did sub 10 hours. That's pretty impressive.
Well, I'm pretty pleased with how it went. It was, you know, I had a shocker of a swim. Just, you know, got caught in the traffic a bit like yourself, you know, with everyone swimming over the top of you, glasses coming off, getting kicked in places where I didn't really feel like getting kicked in, and so on and so on. But you know, that swim was not good. But the bike felt really good on the bike. Actually, it really felt like I was riding a solid 180k time trial.
Well, you came past me, I guess, at about 10 kilometres, like a fucking train, weaving in and out of other people, smashing everybody to bits. I wasn't even 100% sure it was you. You were moving so quickly. I mean, that couldn't quite make it. It was more of a blur.
Yeah, no, I just decided to have a go. You know, like with that bad swim, I got out of the water, but I think it was 330 something places down. You know, not exactly where I wanted to be. And with that, I thought, sorry, I'm just gonna go. Just put the hammer down for a bit, got clear of some traffic, and certainly over the bridge over to Öland. You know, the climb up there, I went probably twice as quick as everyone else, and then most people seem to be sort of up there holding into the base bars, you know, trying to negotiate the wind, whereas I thought that was probably the best part of the whole course, where, you know, you're just travelling over 50 mile an hour down the other side of that. And
it was pretty windy though, right?
It was pretty windy. I mean, looking at the average speeds, you know, it was just nowhere near far, like proper fast times. You know, I think I did 4:36 for the 180k, and that, you know, that's quite slow in my.
What do you think of the quality of the sort of the better age group bikers and the pro bikers?
No, I think, you know, they're very good bike riders. Don't get me wrong. Like anyone who can hold 40k an hour on a day like it was on Saturday, whether it's in a sort of, well, it's not really a bunch, but at the same time you still get a good sit on someone. If you're 8 meters behind their back wheel, you can still, certainly with the wind that we had, you know, you still got to be a pretty good bike rider to be able to hold that. And, you know, I spent some time training with you know, Enek Olanas and those guys down in Lanzarote, and they're handy. You know, they can hold their own.
Right. So you got off the bike in 4:36.
Yeah.
And then the run, and it's a bit. I mean, I think even for experienced Ironmen, the run can be a bit of an unknown. So, what was your strategy for that?
Well, I was looking at trying to run a 5-minute K, and I kind of started out and felt a little bit sort of unsteady the first couple of kilometers, and you know, I kept on looking at my watch, and I was going, you know, this is not feeling right. So I decided to scrap looking at my watch, just run it and find that comfortable, uncomfortable pace, if you know what I mean, where you sort of you're hurting, but you're not really flat out.
Yeah.
And I kind of found a tempo that was alright, where I felt like I was in control of the situation. I thought, you know, when we go out on the last lap, if I can up it, then I'll run the last lap faster. Didn't quite feel like I could do that at that point, so with about 5k to go, then I finally went, okay, I got this now, I got it under control, let's just open up a little bit more and just to feel what it's like. And you know, I think I ran about 4:45, between 4:45 and 5 minutes per k on the last 5k's, and felt okay.
And the last bit of the run in Sweden through Kalmar, the crowds were fucking amazing, right?
It was nuts, absolutely nuts. I've done a few events up in Sweden, you know, in terms of bike races and whatnot, and I've never seen Swedish crowds like that ever. Oh. And the coolest thing is, you know, and I think this is probably the best part about Ironman or triathlon, is that the crowds are there for everyone, whether you're the first man across the line or whether you're the last one struggling to get in across, you know, inside a time limit, you know, at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. And I think that is what makes this sport so special.
So thank you, people of Kalmar, because even though I didn't finish the race, I still, you know, massively appreciate every cheer and every high five that you get on the way around.
It's a shame you didn't didn't finish it. I was hoping to do a high five there on the finish line.
Yeah, me too. But, what's the longest time trial you would have ever have done as a cyclist?
I think it was 57k.
Okay, so it's considerably more.
Quite a bit more, yeah. But obviously I've done team time trialing when I was younger as well with the national team. That was 100 kilometers and 4 guys back then. So, right. You know, I think that I'm used to sort of spending an awful lot of time on my time trial bike, and I've always had my time trial bike at home between races to be able to go out and train on it. And you know, there's been days when in riding as a pro when I've been sitting there for 4 or 5 hours on my TT bike just so I get used to the position, because unless you're used to that, to riding that way, your body's never going to function, and you're never going to be able to put out the big power. So that's that. So yeah, going back to Wales, a lot of people are talking about, you know, there's a lot of climbing down there. It's quite technical course, lots of twists and turns and all sorts. So I'm contemplating right now to ride my road bike, which is to win the Miller Massive Attack, but you know, it's a lot lighter. If I put the light wheels in, I think it weighs in on just about 7.2 kilos with all the extra bits on as well. So
what wheel, if you were to ride that road bike, what wheels would you have, and what group set are you using?
The road bike is Shimano Di2, Duras Di2, all symmetric chain rings, but it'll go down from the 54 that I rode in Sweden on the flat to a 52 and 42. Sweden was a 54-44. Yeah. Just to get that little bit, and then probably have a 25 block on the back. And the wheels, I'm fairly certain I would ride my 72 mils down in Wales, regardless of whether I'm on the TT bike or the road bike, just because you've got good aerodynamic advantage, you know, with the 72 aeros from Reynolds, and at the same time as they're not that heavy.
What's harder, an Ironman or a stage of a tour or a classic? Different types of pain. The one that you're doing at that particular time is probably the hardest. Yeah, no,
it's very different in terms of pain. Like I think you have to separate the you know, the engine and your sort of general physical fatigue from the joint pain that I'm experiencing at the moment. You know, if I'm talking general fatigue, I think they're pretty much on par with each other. You know, it's a big classic, a Paris-Roubaix or whatever, you know, Milan-San Remo 300k. It's, yeah, you're certainly feeling it the next day.
Fucking hurts either way, right?
Yeah, you're certainly feeling it the next day, and you know, it takes a couple of days to recover from it, but most of the time you're alright to go on for an easy spin the next day, which I wouldn't have had a problem with on Sunday morning to go out for an easy spin. It probably would have done me good actually. But no, I felt.
Which do you think you prefer? Because people say you get the triathlon and the Ironman bug, and it kind of doesn't really matter what your ability level is, but it's definitely true that
it's definitely true. I feel like I got the bug for it, and you know, I absolutely loved it on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to Wales already, and I'm already starting to think about what I'm going to do next year. And all that. It's difficult to say whether I prefer this to cycling. I've been there and I've done that and got a t-shirt with me for it, but you know, at the moment this is far more enjoyable than just riding a bike, and hence why I've hung up the bike in terms of racing and just focusing on doing this, because you know, it's a bit of a change, and you know, it's just a cool atmosphere.
And you told me earlier that you really didn't swim at all until December of last year.
No, I never swum. Just decided that you know, I was looking at whether it was feasible to do this at a half decent competitive level. So I jumped in the water with my boardies on and swam 2k, and my mate back home, Dave Hart, who's a swim coach, he said, you know, there's something to work with there. Let's do it. So
and just you swam in a hoop wetsuit at the weekend, right?
Yeah.
And you like those as well.
yeah, it's. I mean, I haven't got an awful lot to compare with, but it certainly fits me very nicely. And you know, the fact that we got the thicker neoprene on the bottom half to lift my
Cyclist legs.
cyclist slightly heavy legs. You know, otherwise I'll just sink, and you know, dive like a cork and swim like a stone or something. but no, it's that suit's been fantastic. So you know, I really appreciate all the sponsors that I've had with Maxi Fuel and you know, everyone that's looked after me you know, for this year to make this possible, to make the transition, and you know, hopefully we can find some more people next year to help back me and take this forward, because you know, as long as I feel my body is in one piece and is happy to keep on doing this, I'm going to keep on doing it and keep on pushing, you know, the boundaries to what is physically possible.
Well, I think it's pretty amazing what you've done, and
Thank you.
maybe we can talk about it again next year or
Yeah.
over the winter, and kind of keep up to date with what you're doing.
I think a Kona slot, you know, then.
That's out there now, Kona slot.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I guess as a wrap up to my Ironman Sweden vlog, maybe it will become Magnus's Ironman Kona vlog.
Yeah, let's
We'll
do that.
We'll certainly keep up. But
Yeah.
Magnus, you are an Ironman.
Yeah, man.
Thanks.